Hello everyone. I have a story I'd like to share with you today. Have you ever had this experience? You gave your whole heart for someone, but they just accepted it as if it were natural. Your sincerity was treated like air, and your devotion was discarded like water. Don't devote yourself to those who don't. No gratitude. That is the path to losing yourself. I hope this one sentence resonates in your hearts today. I have seen countless people suffer the same pain situations where genuine giving is met with indifference, where sincerity is met only with the reaction that it's natural. Relationships where you gave your heart but weren't cherished. Why do these things repeat? Why do we continue to receive the same wounds? Today, let's find that answer together. I want to tell you that all the emotions you've experienced so far were never in vain, and that you can now make different choices. We learned that giving everything for someone you love is a virtue, but when that love is one-sided, when that devotion is taken for granted, what do we lose? We lose ourselves. We lose our sense of worth, our preciousness, our reason for existing today. Let's take a journey together to reclaim that lost self. I want to share the wisdom of no longer wasting your precious time and energy on people who don't know gratitude, and of living with people who truly respect you and know how to appreciate you. Your heart may be tired. You may be afraid of experiencing another disappointment, but I hope you discover new hope here today. You are precious enough, and you are someone who deserves to be respected. You know well how empty one-sided relationships can be. It's like pouring water into a bucket with holes. No matter how much you pour, it doesn't fill up. No matter how much you give, it's not satisfying. And in the end, all that remains is an empty heart and a weary soul. Do you think maybe I did something wrong? Before you sleep at night, when you're alone, don't these self-reproaches wash over you? Maybe they don't appreciate me because I'm lacking. Maybe I need to do better, to be recognized. But let me tell you the truth, everyone. The problem is not your inadequacy. The problem is the other person's attitude. No matter how perfect you become, someone who doesn't know how to be grateful will still not be grateful. No matter how much more you give, someone who takes things for granted will continue to take them for granted. Let me organize the causes of such situations into 3 points. The first is familiarity. People forget to be grateful for what they always receive. Just as we take the daily sunrise for granted, your devotion also becomes a natural part of their daily life. What was special becomes routine, and what was precious becomes taken for granted. The second is comparison. Some people think others get more rather than being grateful for what they received. No matter how much you give, it seems insufficient in their eyes. Far from being grateful, they demand more. The third is self-centeredness. There are people who believe the world revolves around them. To these people, others' sacrifices are seen as natural investments. For themselves, your efforts are invisible and your heart is unfelt. If any of these 3 applies, it's highly likely that no matter how hard you try, the other person's heart won't change. You don't need to change. You just need to change your perspective on the situation. It's like shouting in a valley with no echo. No matter how loud you shout, only silence returns. At this point, will you shout louder, or will you move to a place where you can hear an echo? The answer is clear. It's natural for your heart to be hurt. I fully understand that sense of emptiness when you gave your all, but weren't acknowledged. That frustration when you did your best, but were taken for granted. But those wounds don't define you. Those disappointments don't determine your worth. What should we do now? Let me tell you the solutions. Specifically first, set boundaries. Unlimited giving becomes poison. Please acknowledge that your time, energy, and emotions also have limits. Please develop the courage to say no. Love without boundaries is not love, but depletion. Keep your distance, whether physical or emotional distance. It doesn't matter. The closer you are, the easier it is to be taken for granted. When you step back a little, you can see the true nature of the relationship. Distance is not hatred, but protection. It's wisdom to protect yourself. The most important thing is to devote yourself to yourself first. Please take care of yourself before taking care of others. Please love yourself before loving others. There's no reason for others to cherish someone who doesn't cherish themselves. Please relate to people who know how to be grateful. There are people who notice your small considerations, people who are genuinely grateful for your efforts. Please share your precious heart with such people. Seeds should be sown in fertile soil, not on rocky ground. Sometimes choose silence. Please don't try to persuade with words. Don't struggle to show through actions. Just quietly step back. Silence sometimes becomes the most powerful message. I know these changes aren't easy. Changing patterns you've had so far requires courage. But if you don't change, the same wounds will just repeat. Now is the time to make different choices. All the sincerity you gave was not in vain. It was just scattered in the wrong places. Now please share that heart in the right places, to grateful hearts, to people who cherish you. People who don't know gratitude won't change no matter how hard you try, but you can break free from them. That is the power of choice you have. That is your freedom. Change doesn't happen overnight, but the moment you take the first step, a new path opens. Please take that first step today. Specific practice methods. Let me tell you specific practice methods. It's important to start with small changes. First, please reduce your words. Please don't explain at length. Please express your intentions briefly and firmly. When you say no, you don't need to elaborate on reasons at length. Saying it's difficult right now is sufficient. The more you talk, the more gaps appear, and gaps become room for manipulation. Second, please control your time. Isn't it that your schedule only includes other people and not yourself? From now on, please include yourself in your schedule. Please make sure to secure time for yourself, time to take care of yourself, time to comfort yourself. Third, start with small distancing. You don't need to suddenly cut off relationships. Please gradually create space from meeting every day to every other day, from always answering calls to sometimes calling back later, from always contacting first to waiting sometimes. Fourth, please write down your priorities. Thinking only in your head makes you waver. Writing on paper anchors your heart. Please write down who truly cherishes you, who is grateful to you, who you feel comfortable with. Fifth, please spend time with people who are grateful. There are people who notice your small kindnesses, people who are grateful for your very existence, please. Invest time in meetings with such people. Good relationships don't maintain themselves, they require intentional investment. Sixth, please create self-care habits, please. Give yourself small gifts every day. Drinking your favorite tea, taking a walk, listening to good music, anything is good. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. You need to take care of yourself to properly take care of others. These changes may feel awkward at first. You may feel guilty. You might think, am I being too selfish? But that's a natural emotion you feel as someone who has lived sacrificing yourself. True selfishness is taking others' sacrifices for granted. Taking care of yourself is not selfishness, but responsibility. Healthy self-love is the starting point of healthy relationships. Small changes create big changes. Please practice just one thing today. That small courage will be the beginning of changing your life. Psychological transformation. Now let's talk about psychological transformation. It's important to lighten the weight on your heart. Obsession is weight. The desire for the other person to change, the desire to be recognized, the longing to be loved. These make you heavy. Because of that weight, you can't walk freely. Because of that weight, you can't see new paths. Expectations are shackles. Expectations like, this time will be different. If I do a little better, they'll understand. They'll change over time. Hold your ankles. Expectations are like fog that prevents you from seeing reality. When you stop holding on, you finally become light, just as your hand becomes free. When you open your tightly clenched fist, your heart becomes free. When you let go, letting go is not giving up. Letting go is liberation. Relationships also have seasons. There's spring and summer, autumn and winter. Some relationships face winter. They face winter when leaves fall and flowers wither. Please, don't try to forcibly turn that winter into spring. Please, accept winter as winter. Winter is not the end. Winter is a time of preparation. It's a time when new life is preparing underground. The winter of relationships is the same. It's not the end, but a time of preparation for a new beginning. Please lighten your load. You can't travel with a heavy bag. You need to take out unnecessary things. Resentment is baggage. Regret is baggage. Obsession is baggage. Please put down those burdens one by one. Please pull out your feet when you're stuck in a swamp. You shouldn't try to go deeper. You need to pull out your feet. Sometimes you need to take off your shoes to pull out your feet. It's the same with relationship. Swamps don't try to go deeper. Pull out your feet, please. Escape from the shadows. Aren't you living in someone's shadow? Isn't your day determined by that person's mood? Shadows are always behind. Please walk forward. Please find your own light. Freedom is not far away. It's in your heart. With just the courage to let go, you can become free right now. What you're holding on to seems to keep you safe, but it might actually be imprisoning you. Wind blows where it's not blocked. It doesn't flow where it's blocked. Please go where you're not blocked. Please go where you can flow freely. Change is scary, but not changing is scarier. The continuation of current pain is scarier. Please be brave. You just need to take one step. Self-esteem, recovery. Now let's talk about recovering self-esteem. This is the most important part. When devotion isn't respected, the first thing to crumble is self-esteem. Thoughts like, am I worthless? Am I that easy? Am I someone who deserves to be ignored? Gnaw at your heart. But these thoughts are not facts. They're just distorted perceptions, please. Don't blame yourself. The problem is not you. The problem is the other person's eyes. If someone looks at a beautiful flower and calls it a weed, the problem is not with the flower, but with that person's eyes. You are beautiful and precious enough right now, at this moment. Please declare to yourself, I am someone who deserves respect. I am someone who should be cherished. I am someone who deserves gratitude. Please say this out loud. Please listen with your own ears. Self-care is respect. How you treat yourself signals to others how they should treat you. If you treat yourself carelessly, others will also treat you carelessly. If you cherish yourself, others will also come to cherish you. Every morning, please look in the mirror and say to yourself, you worked hard today. 2, you're doing well, you're precious. It may feel awkward, but if you keep doing it, it becomes natural, and gradually those words become truth. When you value yourself preciously, others also come to respect you. This is like a law of nature. The treatment you allow for yourself becomes the standard for how others treat you. If you accept low standards, you receive low treatment. If you demand high standards, you receive high treatment. Past wounds don't define you. Just because someone ignored you doesn't make you someone who deserves to be ignored. Just because someone took you for granted doesn't make you someone who is taken for granted. Your value doesn't depend on others' evaluations. Your value is within you. It's an inherent value you've had since birth. You don't need to prove it to be recognized, and you don't need to persuade those who don't recognize that value. Self-esteem doesn't recover overnight. It requires consistent self-care and self-love. Please say kind words to yourself a little each day. Please make good choices for yourself a little each day. Wounded self-esteem is like a wounded heart. It needs time and care to heal. Please don't be impatient. Please love yourself slowly but steadily. You are not someone whose value decreases because of someone's indifference. You are not someone whose preciousness disappears because of someone's taking you for granted. You are a complete and precious being, just as you are. Please accept that truth now, and please demand treatment that matches that truth. That is your right, and that is your reason for existing. Balance in healthy relationships. Let me talk about the balance in healthy relationships. Relationships with broken balance cannot last long. Look at the broken balance relationships where one side keeps giving and the other side only receives are destructive. It's like a seesaw. If one side is too heavy, it loses balance and can't function as a game. Relationships are the same. When balance is lost, it becomes exploitation rather than a relationship. People who only receive gradually take more and more for granted. People who only give gradually feel pressure to give even more. Such relationships are not healthy. They're not sustainable. On the other hand, think about established balance. Give and take. Relationships are peaceful. Each considers the other, and each is grateful to the other. It's not a relationship built on one side's sacrifice, but a relationship built on mutual respect. In such relationships, even when there are conflicts, they get resolved. When problems arise, they solve them together. because they don't want to lose each other. Resentment is baggage. Resentment like, I did so much for them, and why don't they understand, weighs down your heart carrying. That baggage, you can't start new relationships or improve existing one's. Gratitude is a pillar. Gratitude for each other makes the foundation of relationships solid. When there's a grateful heart, small considerations feel big, and small kindnesses are remembered for a long time. Gratitude is like a strong pillar that supports relationships. Please lighten the weight of unnecessary relationships. You don't need to maintain all relationships. Please boldly organize relationships that tire you, relationships that drain your energy, relationships that make you unhappy. Relationships also need sorting. Keep good relationships, organize bad relationships, and keep distance while watching ambiguous relationships. You don't need to be close with everyone. It's more meaningful to maintain deep relationships with a few people who cherish you. Let me tell you the characteristics of balanced relationships. First, conversation is natural. It's not one side talking and one side listening, but both talking and both listening. Second, consideration is mutual. It's not one side being considerate, but both being considerate. Third, sacrifices are voluntary. They make concessions for each other, not because they're forced to, but with willing hearts. In such relationships, you don't get tired, rather, you get energized. You feel comfortable when you're together, and you miss them when you're apart. This is what healthy relationships look like. Recovering balance may not be easy. In relationships where you've been giving one-sidedly so far, suddenly demanding balance may confuse the other person. But if it's a true relationship, it will find a new balance. If it's not such a relationship, it probably wasn't a relationship to begin with. Your happiness is your responsibility. Please don't wait for others to make you happy. Creating balanced relationships is also your responsibility. Don't wait for the other person to change. Start by demanding balance yourself. Turning wounds into wisdom. Let me talk about turning wounds into wisdom. Every wound has meaning. Wounds are not the end, but lessons. Through painful experiences, we learn what is truly precious. We become able to distinguish what are real relationships and what are fake relationships. We become able to discern who truly thinks of us and who is trying to use us. Pain is unavoidable. There's no way to live without getting hurt, but you can choose your attitude toward that pain. Whether you make pain into seeds of resentment or fertilizer for wisdom is your choice. Thanks to wounds, the determination "I won't waste it again" becomes possible. If it hadn't hurt, you wouldn't have tried to change. If you hadn't been wounded, you wouldn't have tried to grow. Pain becomes the driving force for change. Wounds are teachers that make us open our eyes, not break us down. They make us see what we couldn't see before and realize what we couldn't realize before. They help us understand, this kind of relationship is not healthy. I shouldn't accept this kind of treatment. I'm also a precious person. Without pain, there's no growth. In comfortable places, you don't feel the need to change. You need painful experiences to try to make better choices. You need wounds to know the preciousness of healing. Every failure has a hidden gift. Even failed relationships have something to learn. You learn, I shouldn't miss these kinds of signals. I should be wary of these kinds of words. I shouldn't accept these kinds of behaviors. Please don't close your wounded heart. Just because you're hurt doesn't mean you need to block all. Relationships' wounds are experiences that make us wiser. They're experiences that help us develop the insight to discern better. Relationships, being in pain right now, is evidence that you're breaking away from wrong patterns. So far, it always hurts when you change. But beyond that pain, a freer life awaits. All the wounds you've experienced are not in vain. Those wounds made you stronger and wiser. Now it's time to use that wisdom. It's time to stop repeating the same mistakes. Wounds are not weaknesses. Wounds are evidence of growth, evidence that you're alive, evidence that you tried to love sincerely. You don't need to be ashamed of that, please. Now sublimate those wounds into wisdom, please. Apply what you learned through painful experiences to new relationships. Your wounds might become medicine that heals others. Wounds, relationship, cleanup, and new beginnings. Now let's talk about relationship cleanup and new beginnings. An end is another name for a new beginning. Not all relationships go together to the end. This is not a sad thing, but a natural thing. People walk their own paths. With some people, you walk together for a while and then part at a crossroads. That's life. Organizing relationships is not hatred, but choice. It's not because of bad feelings, but a choice for a better future. Your energy and time are limited. Where to spend them is something you must decide. Please don't fear empty. Space is empty. Spaces eventually get filled with new opportunities. When poor relationships occupy space, there's no room for good relationships to enter. You need to organize for new things. To enter, you need to cut off the past for the future to open. If you cling to past relationships, you can't start new relationships. If you hold on to past wounds, you can't accept new happiness. Letting go is the first condition for accepting. The decision to break relationships is the beginning of freedom and hope. The moment you break away from wrong relationships, you become free. You no longer need to watch others' faces, no longer need to expect, no longer need to be disappointed. Organizing requires courage. Leaving familiar things is always scary, even if that thing is harmful to you. Familiar things feel comfortable, but true comfort can be found in healthy places. When organizing relationships, please be calm rather than emotional. You don't need to break them off while angry or resentful. Just quietly, firmly, politely keep distance. You don't even need to explain reasons. Sometimes you don't need to cut completely. Just keeping distance is enough. In some cases, keeping close relationships distant, changing frequently met relationships to occasionally met relationships, changing deeply involved relationships to superficial relationships is also a method. Please don't have fear about new relationships. Not everyone lacks gratitude. Not everyone is trying to use you. There are definitely people who cherish you, are grateful to you, and want to build healthy relationships with you. Organizing is not destruction, but reorganization. Just as when cleaning a room, you throw away unnecessary things. In life too, organizing unnecessary relationships is needed. Only then can you focus on truly precious relationships. Please don't fear change. Change is another name for growth. Breaking away from patterns so far may feel awkward at first, but you'll soon find a new rhythm. An end is not an end. An end is a new beginning. The wrong relationship you end today will create space for the good relationship that will start tomorrow. Conclusion. Now let me conclude with final words. To you, let me summarize the story so far. Devoting yourself to people who don't know gratitude is the path to losing yourself. No matter how sincere you are, no matter how much sincerity you pour out, people who don't know how to be grateful don't change. The problem is not that you're lacking, but in the other person's attitude. Now is the time to make different choices. It's time to set boundaries, keep distance, and devote yourself to yourself first. It's time to share your precious time and energy with people who truly know how to be grateful. Healthy relationships start with balance. Relationships where only one side gives and only one side receives cannot last. Only relationships where both give and receive, both consider each other, and both are grateful to each other are true relationships. Only in such relationships can you find true happiness. Wounds are not the end, but lessons for new beginnings. All the pain you've experienced so far has made you wiser. Now you can use that wisdom to make better choices. You no longer need to repeat the same mistakes. Please don't fear organizing relationships. Not all relationships need to last a lifetime. Please boldly organize relationships that make you unhappy. Relationships that drain you, those empty spaces, will definitely be filled with better relationships. Please recover your self-esteem. You are precious enough and someone who deserves respect. Your value doesn't decrease because of someone's indifference or taking you for granted. Please start by loving and caring for yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight. Please start with small practices. Start with reducing words, controlling time, keeping distance, setting priorities, and self-care. Please don't fear being alone. Being peaceful alone is better than being lonely in wrong relationships. And when you truly come to love yourself, people who truly love you will appear. Please live differently starting from this moment. Please stop struggling to be recognized. Please stop sacrificing yourself to be loved. Please love yourself first. When you go home today, please look in the mirror and say to yourself, I will now cherish myself. I will no longer waste time on people who don't respect me. I am someone who deserves to be happy. Change is a choice whether to repeat patterns so far or walk a new path is your choice. Please be brave. You just need to take one step. That one step will be the beginning of changing your life. It's not your fault. You've done well enough so far. Now it's your turn to receive. Now it's your turn to be cherished. Now it's your turn to be happy. There are people around you who know how to be grateful. There are people who notice your small kindnesses and are grateful for your very existence. Please find such people and be with them. Please create new relationships and new happiness with them. Finally, I bless your future. I hope you won't be hurt by one-sided devotion anymore. I hope you live a life full of beautiful relationships where you respect each other and are grateful. You are precious enough to deserve that. If today's message resonated in your heart, subscribing and liking becomes the power to convey this wisdom to more people. I hope this message becomes comfort and hope for those who are suffering from the same wounds. I support your new beginning. Thank you.